Hi everyone, I am glad that you could join me today. I'm Mahi Noor Sumro and I'm just going to give you a small introduction about what I am before we jump right into our topic of today, which is the kind of women we need today. So, as an HR professional, I started my career around 9-10 years ago, and I am currently heading and running my own consultancy firm with my partner Noor. I don't know. I hope that you already know about it. It's called Mushawar Consulting. We are currently focusing on Middle East, Pakistan, UK primarily, and we're very proud of the growth we've shown in the past few months with respect to what we're doing and the kind of management consulting we are doing at this point in time. For my personal introduction, what you should know is that I am a talent acquisition expert, and I've been working in the ICT industry of Pakistan for a while. And I am a youth champion for, I sort of campaign a lot for women empowerment, women inclusiveness. No, that does not mean that I'm only working for women. I believe in rights for all, equality for all, and I therefore sort of focus a lot on youth development initiatives as well. I do a lot of career development workshops for universities and students, schools even. Me and Noor, we do a lot of life coaching and career coaching for people, not just from the Mushawar platform, but also from our own platforms. And we also are one of the, we both career coach and are mentors on Revitalize and Rise. And you could always find that out on Facebook. You can reach out to us, and you can reach out to us through our websites. I'm going to be sharing those details later. But at this point in time, what we're going to talk about is the kind of women we need today, because that's something that clearly was something resonating with everyone when I did it for IBEX Global on Women's Day. People were constantly asking me that they wanted one live session for that, or like a workshop for that, to attend it. And a lot of women, of course, friends, colleagues, sort of showed interested in, and I was like, I'm just going to find time and I'm going to do this for you guys. So here I am. We're going to be talking about this for around 30 minutes, 20 minutes. It's not a very it's actually a very long topic. It's something that's very elaborate, and a lot of time it's something that's very difficult to explain to people. I am not saying that I have mastered the art of being a woman of the 21st century, of today, but it's something that I've learned, of course, not just as a professional, but as a female who has, responsibilities not just at home, but socially. I'm also active, of course, when it comes to sort of taking care of my own business. So it's kind of very difficult saying that you're a perfectionist. I'm not a perfectionist. I sort of start with where I can and how I can, right? So what we're going to talk about initially is, you have to understand that this is the time when you have to be really vocal, and you have to be sort of also very well grounded, and you can't just be fooling around. So you need to be very aware of what you're talking about. So I tell women that there are different ways of being that kind of perfect woman who can lead things, but at this point in time, you need to understand that you have to have a complete understanding of who you are before you can understand the world. So when I start talking about the kind of woman that you need to be at this point in time, the first thing and the first advice I give to everyone, and I give it to myself all the time, is that you're important. So understand who you are. Are you someone who likes to be a laid back person? Are you someone who likes to have a very aggressive personality and get things done all the time? What do you like? What you don't like? What are your priorities? These are the things that you need to be very, sort of aware of. So the first thing that you need to do is to understand that you're important and you value. So I know that you have a lot of responsibilities. I know that you have to take care of your career. I know you have to take care of your personal development. I know you have to take care of your family, which includes your parents and your siblings. I know that if you're married, then you have to take care of your spouse. I know that you have to take care of your spouse's family. You know, you have to interact with people socially, when you're networking with them, friends, but you have to interact with family also on social levels. So it really is a diverse culture and a diverse society that you live in, and you have to take care of all of these things and all of these people. But what you cannot do is ignore yourself and do all of these things. So if you don't understand that you're important, everything else is just going to fail. So focus on who you are as a person. Focus on what you like as a person. Focus on the importance of you as a person. And then start dealing with everything, every responsibility, every priority in your life. If you can't understand the importance of your mental fitness, your physical fitness, your emotional fitness, you're never going to really understand anyone else's needs either. If you're not 100% true to yourself, you're never going to be 100% true to anyone else. You can't give to anyone if you don't know that you're happy inside, right? So you have to understand that you're extremely important, and if you do not value yourself, people are just not going to value you either. So start with knowing yourself, start with understanding you're important, and then go on, then deal with your responsibilities at different levels one by one, right? The other thing that you need to understand is, if you're not happy, everything else is going to just fall apart. It's true, I'm telling you. You think that no, I have to please everyone. You can't do that, first of all. But the second thing is, if you're not happy, you're probably going to agree to a decision, or you're going to agree to living a certain life, but you're never going to be fully on board with it, and sooner or later you're going to damage not just yourself but also the relationship you're trying to please by doing something that you don't like, or you don't agree with, or you're not comfortable with. So you need to understand that at the end of the day, you're just extremely important, and whatever you feel is the basis of leading a successful life and leading successful relationships, right? There was something that people asked me about, when I talk about how you have to be, sort of, you have to understand, why I'm important. How do I come to how do I self-evaluate myself? I tell them that you could start today. It doesn't matter when you start, but you have to start today. Aaj dekho, what do you want to do? Today you find out what are your priorities, what makes you happy. Write those things down, and then make a habit of doing that one thing that makes you happy every day, even if it's for 5 minutes, so that you're happy at the end of the day, and you can take care of everyone, sooner or later. But the most important thing is, you make a list of those things down that are important to you, that you really like doing, that you want to excel at, and then go on, give yourself time every single day, make out time for yourself, and then you'll feel the difference when you have time for your own self, and you're taking out time for your own self, even if it's for 5 minutes in a day. It's called mindfulness also, taking out time for yourself, your own soul, your own happiness. If you start doing that and you start giving yourself importance, everyone else is going to fall in line. Because when people see that you're going to value your self-esteem, you're going to value yourself, people are going to fall in line. People are not going to cross a line and be like, do this, do that, just because they think they can control your life. So it's very important that you value your life, you control your life by showing that you show importance to yourself, right? The other thing that people wanted me to talk about, and it's the second item on my agenda, it's about recognizing yourself, right? Like I said, when you start realizing that you're important, you also start realizing what you want to do, who you are, where are your responsibilities, where are your priorities. I understand that there are a lot of responsibilities and priorities that you did not sign up for, but there are a lot of things that you want to do for yourself, and you should always value these. You should take out that time and write them down today, Recognize yourself. What are your likes, what are your dislikes? Because things that you don't like to do, maybe you'll have to put in extra effort when you have to do it for someone, or because it becomes a responsibility for you even if you did not want it. For instance, unwanted pregnancies, they happen all the time. But how do you deal with it? You recognize first what is okay with you, what is not okay with you. And when you know that these are things that I cannot do, you make ways of doing them, right? The second thing that you need to do is you evaluate every decision in your life, first thinking how do you feel about it and how does it affect you, and in the long run, is it going to damage you as a person or not? If it's damaging you as a person, it's something that you don't want to do, quite frankly. But it's very important that you understand that your relationships and your responsibilities really boil down to the fact, and you can only be successful if you actually see that it's something that you want to do or you motivate yourself into doing. So recognize yourself, show yourself that you're important, your opinions matter, you should value yourself, and then go onwards, right? The second thing that I always tell people is be honest to yourself. Women, just stop doing this. Stop being not honest to yourself, because it shows when we are being fake and when we are taking everyone's opinion and it's our opinion, and if you're just following a lead, we're not sheep. We're actually beings with intelligent minds. So stop letting people treat you like that, and stop treating yourself like that, right? It's very important that you stop treating yourself like just some other person with no value and no thinking capacity, because truly you do have that capacity. You have to show people that you have to have that capacity, and people are just going to fall in line then. So the kind of woman that you have to be is that you have to know that you're important. The kind of woman that you have to be for today is that you know that you respect yourself, and that you know who you are as a person, and then that you have a mind of yourself, and then that you're honest to yourself, honest to whatever you do. Honesty in everything you do. When you lie about something and you make up this fake dream or make up this fake life, sooner or later you're going to fall flat on your face, because the truth is going to come out tomorrow. Today it's going to happen to you that the the weight that you carry of being fake, that's going to really weigh you down, and you're going to be demotivated, you're going to be depressed, you're going to be feeling that you don't belong somewhere. So you only can please people and be something else for a while. It's going to start cracking you up, and then it's going to really depress and demotivate you as a person. So don't do this to yourself. Be honest. Don't backbite. Don't go out and say something that you don't believe in. Don't try to make numbers just by saying something that's not true. Lying is never going to help. So don't lie to yourself. When you're not good at something, you're not good at something, learn it. It's okay. I know that for a fact that I've never been a great cook, so I don't lie about it. I never lie to anyone about it. I try to make myself understand that this is something that I want to do in the long run, because I like. When I started cooking, or started experimenting, it was something that was interesting, but it's not something I really like doing. So there's something that I need to work on, but I'm not going to lie about it just because I want to make certain relationships in my life happy about it. No, I'm not going to do that, because then people will start expecting something of me that's not true, and I can't give that to them in return. So I have to be very honest about what I can do and what I cannot do. So make sure that you set up the right expectations for people to treat you the right way. If you don't want them to have really high expectations, or they keep demanding things from you, then don't lie about it. Simply just say no. That's the thing that you can do. Just stop lying, right? So the second, and then the most important thing that you have to tell yourself is you're not superhuman. You're not a superwoman. You don't have these powers that can help you just wand away everything that you want to do. No, you can't cook, clean everything, and then have a career and have kids, and then also be there for everyone socially. It's going to happen, but it's going to happen in phases. You can't be doing everything at the same time. For instance, I read this quote by Sheryl Sandberg, and I completely agreed with her. When I'm out working and I'm combating all these these major career goals, I am losing out on the time that I could spend at home, perhaps with my family, perhaps with my husband or perhaps with my in-laws or my friends. I understand that that's something that I understand have that I have to give and let go of, because not everything can be done immediately. We're not superhuman and we can't be superhuman. So you have to understand that there are some things you're going to be good at and there are some things that you're not going to be good at. So you need to be prepared for it. Yeah, mentally, if you're prepared that you're not going to be a superhuman and you can't be a perfectionist and you can't be doing five things at the same time. I am a multitasker, but I can't possibly be in three places at the same time. So I understand, and I keep telling this to myself. I only make commitments after I realize what kind of timelines I have, what kind of work that I have. And when I just say yes, yes, yes to everyone, I start failing. So I need to understand that I can be a superhuman, and you need to understand that too. So the woman of today has to be realistic and has to understand that you cannot be a superhuman at all points in time. Okay. So the next thing you have to start doing for yourself after understanding that you're not a superhuman is stop being apologetic all the time. You can't be apologetic. If you're apologetic, you know, everyone's just going to walk all over you. So understand that you can be superhuman, you can be a perfectionist, you can try and do all of these things. No one's stopping you to, have different responsibilities and be involved in different things, but just know that you have to have time management skills, you have to have understanding of what you're capable of, and that you're going to say no sometimes, and it's not going to hurt anyone. If you're just being honest, no one's going to be hurt, right? So when I say don't be unapologetic, I say it because um, I understand my failures. I own my failures. I'm honest to myself. If you're not honest to yourself, if you are not owning your failures and then you're being unapologetic, I'm sorry, then you're going to be just too proud and you don't have empathy. But if you're honest to yourself, you understand what you're capable of, you're not lying to people, then that just shows that you're actually conscious about what you can do and what you cannot do. It's simple as that. If you're not lying about who you are and what you're capable of, then you just don't have to be apologetic. You have to be unapologetic. People can't keep bringing you down just by telling you that you didn't do this right and you didn't do that right. People are going to do that to everyone. Everyone has a superior perspective of what could have been done, what could have been better. But seriously, you have to understand that you can't be doing this. You can't do everything all by yourself all the time, and you can't be a superhuman. So stop being unapologetic. So stop being apologetic. You have to be unapologetic. So the things that we've just covered, I'm just going to go through this again with you. The first thing that you have to do is you're important. The second thing that you have to know is that you should recognize yourself, your capabilities, what you're good with, what you're not good with. Be honest to yourself. Don't lie. When you're not good at something, accept it. It's a failure, or it's something that you're probably not interested in. Just go on and learn something. That's okay. And then just don't have expectations, or don't set goals that are going to make you a failure. Don't set your goals high, but not so high that it's impossible. So understand where you're coming from, what can you do. Don't understand that you're a superhuman. You're not a superhuman. Then don't be apologetic. Own yourself, own your failures. Don't be proud, or don't be don't be someone who doesn't have empathy, or someone who's not aware of things. Be someone who is open to criticism and advice, but know when that criticism is negative and it's not constructive. Always be open to advice, but just don't let people criticize you so much that it boggles you down and it kills your confidence. Okay, so be very aware of those people who are there to help you and those people who are just going to bring you down. So take out the negativity. You don't need the negativity anymore. You're already facing a lot, right? So don't be negative, and really let go of everyone who is. It's just not going to help you. Okay, after all of that, you should understand one thing. You're not weak. It doesn't make you weak if you're not 100% at everything. It's just not humanly possible, and does not mean that you're weak. As a gender, we're not weak. We go through labor pains. We're going through, you know, we have menstruation every month. So you know, there's physical hardships that we face every month. That makes us very strong. And quite frankly, um, I'm not being a gender biased person when I'm saying it, but we generally are very strong when it comes to being emotionally, or you know, someone who has the strength in the long run to face your battles. We usually have a stronger foothold on how and how quickly we can forget things. Okay, so remember that self pity and telling yourself that you're weak is not going to get you anywhere. You have to understand that hardships come and hardships go, but you are capable of doing it. So never give up. Never give up just by saying and just by accepting the gender discrimination that women are weak. We are probably physically weak, but you know, and you know, a lot of people are actually going to negate that, because people who are women who are in pro sports, you know, just they're just going to tell you that that's not possible. We're strong enough. So it really, at the end of the day, is about how you take yourself. Be always sure, be confident, understand that there are weaknesses, but it's okay. It's not, it's okay to be not 100% and a superhuman all the time. um, Live in the present. It's extremely important. Face your reality. Don't live in a makeup world with a fantasy ending. You know, everyone wants to be a Walt Disney princess. It doesn't happen. Life's life. You know, you have to deal with life as in when it comes. You know, it's not always, your goals should not just circulate about what society tells you to believe in it. You know, it's not just about thinking that, you know, I have to get married, or I have to have kids, or I should be pretty, or you know, my hair should be, you know, in a certain way all the time, or I should be looking like this, flawless, etc., etc. You know, I should use a whitening cream, etc. No, that's not something that's going to help you. That's not even something that you should, you know, worry about. You should worry about how independent can you be. How can you make yourself happy? How can you make other people around you happy? How can your life mean something? Bring up different perspective in your life and strive towards it. You know, your goals should not be restricted to what's happening today, what people expect of you. You know, your goals should focus on what you can do to amaze the world. What can you do to make you feel like on top of the world? And you can do it only if you focus on it. So we're just going to quickly recap about what we've covered so far. The first thing you have to do is know that you're important. You're extremely important. You know, no one's going to give you importance if you don't respect yourself and you don't value your own opinions. No one's going to give you that importance. So so remember that you're important for yourself. The second thing that you need to do is recognize who you are, what do you like to do, what you can do, and what you cannot do. Be honest to yourself. Third thing, be honest to yourself. Don't make up your own personality in your own mind and live in a fantasy world. It is not going to help you. Just be sure about who you are and who you want to be and what you're capable of. If you're honest, people are going to be honest to you. People are going to deal with you in the right manner, right? Don't be apologetic, be unapologetic. Own your failures so that no one can throw your failures in your face. No one can tell you that you did this wrong, you did this right, and damage your confidence if you don't let your confidence damage you. You should understand that you're honest to yourself. You self-evaluate yourself every time. You own your failures, and no one's going to throw that failure on you, because how can they throw something that you're actually proud of? So don't be like proud of your failures, because you're going to be learning from them. That's what how so just own your failures and be like, yes, I made these failures, but I'm not going to do it again, and this does not define me. That's very important. You know, their perception of you, you should tell them, no, this does not define me. I am a lot better than this, and I can prove this to you. Just give me some time. Okay. Second of all, live your life for your own self. Understand that you're not weak. You can do whatever you want. You can be whoever you want. Just understand that you can't be a superhuman all the time. Have realistic expectations from yourself. Don't bring yourself down. Don't let other people bring you down, right? Then don't self-pity, please. Self-pity is a dangerous hole to be in. It just goes down. You know, if you keep telling yourself, oh, this happened to me, that happened to me, life's been shit, life is always difficult for me. मेरा एक चीज़ है जो कि this is something that I'm striving for and it's not happening, and this only happens to me and everyone else is getting it, but I am the only one who's stuck with this problem. Remember, no one can force you to do something if you do not want to do it, but only if you want to stand up for yourself. So no one can do it. No one can push you to do something or be someone you do not want to be. I refuse to believe that, because as humans, as an intelligent being, God gave you that power to be whoever you wanted to be. So just understand that and be who you want to be, right? Don't self-pity, because if you self-pity, I'm sorry, no one's going to be with you. Everyone's going to be like, oh, this is this person who's negative, and they're going to keep telling you that you're negative and you're a weak person. So don't self-pity. No one has time for people who self-pity themselves, and the only way you can come out of it is that you stop self-pitying yourself and you stop telling yourself that you're weak. Okay, and the last and the most important thing is lead a purpose-filled life. Okay, all of this culminates into one simple thing: lead a purpose-filled life. Understand what you want to do, understand what goals you have, understand what priorities you have, and then start doing those priorities and start living those priorities. You can't be living a life that has no means or has no ends. Anything that has no end or an outcome defined is going to be a failure. So you need to understand that you have to have immediate goals, you have to have yearly goals, you have to have phase goals, you have to have life goals. Like I, for instance, started with something that I wanted to educate myself. I did my BBA and MBAs, and then I was like, okay, I need to be a top-notch professional in something in the next 4-5 years, and I did that, and I said that I'm going to be a head of HR at within like 4 years, and people used to laugh at me, and I was the head of HR in 3.5 years. So don't tell me that it can't happen. It was difficult because I put on a lot of late nights, weekends, I studied a lot, but it was something that I decided to do, right? So put your mind to something and then make sure that you are doing it. Then I thought that eventually I want to be known for something that I do, whether it's for my art or my talent acquisition skills or anything that I want to do. Then I focused on the fact that I want to give back to society. Actually, it was something that was there always. I always wanted to give back to society in some capacity, be it through TCF or be it through volunteering for schools, be it through volunteering in CSR work for various initiatives at office or at university level or independently. So it really depends on what kind of goals you have for yourself. Being an entrepreneur, me and Nurjan, we keep talking about what we want to do as entrepreneurs, and we know we want to create, be successful at everything we create, and then move on and create something else. So that's something that keeps us going. It's an ambition that we have, and we are following it through. So you need to understand that you have to set goals and have a purpose-filled life in your life, because if you don't have a purpose-filled life, you're not going to want to get up every morning. Even if you get up, you are not motivated enough. You don't know what you're going to do in the day. You don't know how your day is going to end. You don't know how your weeks are ending. You don't know what you did every month. You don't know how the time flew by you and what kind of a year you've had. You don't know all of these things. So you have to be someone who believes in a purpose and lives for a purpose. This life has been given to you so that you accomplish something. So make sure that you accomplish something. There has to be a goal defined for you. So I'm just going to tell you how all of the other things that I explained to you help you lead a purpose-filled life. You start with being true to yourself. You start giving yourself importance. You start showing people that you value yourself. People are going to value you. People are going to start taking you as an important person in their lives. Then they are going to value your time. They are going to value your experience. They are going to value your input. But you have to understand that you have to make yourself feel important and live like you're important. Secondly, do remember that your that you need to understand who you are, recognize yourself, and then live life knowing what decisions you're making and how they're impacting everyone else and impacting you most importantly. Then move on to the fact that you have to be honest to yourself. Then you have to understand that you are not a superhuman. You can do everything all the time simultaneously. If you're exceeding at your home life, at that point in time your career is taking a back stand, because on weekends perhaps it's family life. So you know your priorities and your responsibilities should have timelines, and you should understand that you can't be doing everything all the time. So you're not superhuman, you can't be doing everything 100% all the time. You have to stop being apologetic, be unapologetic, by owning your failures before people start throwing your failures on your face, right? Then make sure that you don't go into the self-pity hole. You can't be self-pitying yourself, you can't be feeling sorry for yourself, because you can't be a winner if you're feeling sorry for yourself all the time. That's not a winning attitude. And live in the present, face your reality. Don't live in movies and whatever. Don't make up a story in your head, don't victimize yourself. That's not going to help you. Then all of this put together with a purpose filled life. When you have purpose filled life, you'll be surprised to know that very few distractions can actually distract you from what you're doing and how you're doing it. What people say, what comments people pass, in whatever respect that they are, in whatever role that they are sort of in, when you're dealing with them, you should understand that they can't bring you down if you are focused and you're leading a purpose-filled life. So it's extremely important to know that I started understanding the importance of life when I was dealt with like an important person who could take decisions and that whose input was valued. Now, not everyone has that kind of environment, but you can create that environment by going back to the different points that I've discussed with you today. And this is something that people keep asking me: how do I contribute? How do I make people understand that I also have feelings? How do I make people understand that I also have a sensibility, or I can also give feedback that is important, whether it's about work, whether it's about personal lives? Please understand, people will value your input when you think, when you know yourself, when you give yourself importance. If you start doing these things when you're honest, when you don't lie to yourself or other people, when you face your failures, when you own your failures, when you're not apologetic all the time, these are things that are going to, and when you're not self-pitying yourself, if you're doing all of these things, trust me, you're going to go places. But if you're not going to do these things, it's just something you will never succeed at. You're never going to be that person who's going to have any value in your own life, which is the saddest thing in the world. If you can't have value in your own life, no one else is going to give you any value. So the kind of woman that you have to be today, whether you're a career woman, whether you are at home, whether you're leading a life, you're leading a career, whether you're leading a business, whether you're bringing up kids, whether you're just at this point in time traveling the world, you should understand that a woman of today has to be confident. She has to be honest. She has to be there for herself. She has to not be self-pitying herself. She should not be someone who lets people define her. She should be someone who defines her own self. She defines her own terms, and she leads a purpose-filled life. Even when you're distracted, you can always go back to leading a purpose-filled life, only if you actually have goals. So start today. It doesn't matter if you're 30, it doesn't matter if you're 20, it doesn't matter if you're 50, it doesn't matter even if you're 80. Today, you can make your life matter by just deciding what do you want to do with the rest of the days that you have. Get up every morning, do those things, be honest, be confident, be true to yourself. Don't let people walk all over you, and don't be proud, and don't be someone who doesn't take advice, but know that when that advice is constructive and when that advice is just going to bring you down. So do all of these things and let me know if that didn't work for you. You can always leave messages for me, and you can always leave questions for me at any point in time, on our pages, Mushawar, or Mahinur Sumro, or we also have that mentoring group, Revitalize and Rise. We are accessible on our Facebook profiles, we are accessible on our LinkedIn profiles, we are accessible on our websites. If you need life coaching, career coaching, business strategy, you can always get in touch. I hope this session helped you. This session is going to be available on a YouTube channel later on, after we do some editing if that's required. And I hope this was helpful for you. It was nice to talk to you guys, and I hope we can do this again very soon. Thank you for joining me today. Take care. Allah Hafiz.